The following presentation is a production of Ride the Wave Media.
Lean in and listen. You are now experiencing Limitless. Here's your host, Michelle Lena.
Lean in and listen with me, Michelle Lena. Welcome to Limitless. Today's guest is going to take us on a journey through life and death situation, how she overcame that situation, that difficult journey, that experience, that personal hell, and then only to enter into another dark season in her life. How did she get through it? How did she overcome? What are the tools that she used? And what can we use in our own life to leverage us, that when we are going through hell and back, we know how to actually get through it. Let me introduce my friend, an amazing, incredible human that I have recently got to know, and I'm excited to have her on the show today. Her name is Kathy Poss. She is a financial clarity coach for women looking to take charge of their wealth and thrive in their next stage in life. We all need that. We need to understand that we are not just in this position, that we are always moving forward. And she takes women to the next level, to the next season, financially, emotionally, to feel secure and confident. Kathy is from Ohio. She has a BS in accounting from Indiana University and an MA from Ohio State University. Her career as a CPA in accounting, she's worked with nonprofits, done fundraising. Kathy has found her purpose to help women through several life-changing events, which we are going to get to on this podcast. I'm very excited to sit in this very vulnerable state with Kathy and have her share her story about this life-changing event. When you sit in this position of life or death, why am I here mode? What is my purpose? What is my reason? You get such clarity, and we're going to learn about that today on the podcast. Through all of her trials, she has learned to find her reason, and I hope you find your reason today. She absolutely loves the mountains. She's currently living in Salt Lake City, Utah, and she just thrives in the outdoors. Outdoors is really a healing space for her. She's an avid skier, trail runner, and she lives here so she can be close to her two beautiful sons, which really is the center of her world. She is a member of the Association of Financial Counseling and Planning and Education, but more importantly, she is an incredible, strong, quiet, confident human being, and her story will definitely impact you. And I'd like to welcome my guest today, my friend, Kathy. We're just going to have some girl talk. I want to get to know you better. And the parts that really interest me is you've had some really powerful things and really life-changing events that have happened in your life. And that is what this podcast is about. It's about sharing stories, because I believe we connect and foster better relationships through stories. And so I really want to sit with your story and honor your journey and what season you've landed in because of some of the things that you've gone through. But let's just start. How in the heck did we meet? Why are we friends? Why did you choose to do this with me? Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And you're getting me a little outside my comfort zone with this story, because it's been a journey for me even talking about it. But I love what you're doing. How did we meet? I don't know. Some networking event. And, I was just drawn to you and your strength, and kind of it just resonated with me because of what I do in my business, but mostly because of where I've come from and my experiences. So thank you so much for inviting me and to do this. I love it. It's what makes us all better.
It does. And I think when we hear other people, their journey, their story, it makes ours not seem as heavy and deep, because if we're like, if they can get through that, I can get through that. Hopefully, we're just going to spread some hope today. So we're just going to kind of just jump right into it. Yes, and we did meet at a business group, and our energies did match. And I was absolutely drawn to you with your charisma and your strength and your talent and just how you carry yourself. I knew somebody who embodies those characteristics had to have an amazing journey. You had to go through some kind of fire to stand in such confidence. And it's not like loud confidence. You don't like walk into a room and everyone's going to turn. It's this beautiful, quiet confidence that I was really drawn to, just your presence. And then we've had opportunities to have some just girl time together and go out to lunch. And I really have enjoyed getting to know you. You really are fantastic. So thank you again. Let's just.
That's so sweet. You're going to make me cry.
Well, accept the compliments. I always say when someone gives you a compliment, it is just like one of the best gifts, and we should receive it and not just throw it away.
No,
So
I totally agree. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Let's just kind of go back in time.
Okay.
And if you're ready to go back, let's go back to a couple of maybe times in your life. I want you to think of when you think about going back, what are some of the big events that kind of popped out in your life? If I say, think of your younger self, what is an age that pops up?
Well, I guess, when I think back and I think of, what made me who I am today. I mean, there's lots of things in our lives then, and lots of journeys and experiences. But most recently, I guess, if you call it recent, 6 years ago, at age 52, I was experiencing some incredible migraines. And it coincided with my youngest son, who's graduating from high school, my oldest son, who's graduating from college. They graduated like 2 weeks within each other.
You have two
And of
sons?
course, I have two sons.
Okay.
Yes, 28 and 24 now. And so as we do, as mothers, you do all the things, and but 2 senior years, all at once.
That's big.
And
Yes.
it was fun. It was so much fun. Oh my goodness. But, crazy and fun, and moved houses on top of all that. But I started getting these really intense migraines. Okay. A little stress, maybe a lot of going on.
You didn't have a history of migraines? This was something new? You haven't had a history of it? Oh.
No, not at all.
Oh, they're
it
so
was
crippling.
a little. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and for me it was different. When I explained things to doctors or whoever, it wasn't completely different. And, we'd like to put stress and anxiety and everything. So yes, I for sure was there. But as time progressed over a month period, those headaches became debilitating. I lost vision in my left eye.
Oh, wow.
I mean, my whole eye drooped.
It drooped?
Yeah, so it just drooped down. Lost was really just double vision. Then, just a lot of vertigo. But, okay, we're going to power on as we do. But my body was telling me something different, but I couldn't explain it. I just didn't have the words for the way this was feeling inside of me. Besides the physical symptoms, just couldn't describe what was going on. But then we had this vacation planned to Hawaii for the big celebration, graduation. And my doctor did order an MRI just to go, okay, we're going to rule out, this is kind of looking like a few things. We're going to try to rule it out so you are ready to go. So we did that. And ready to go, got the okay, got over to Hawaii, and things just got really bad. Just really, the same kind of physical symptoms, but just cognitively, I was like slowly losing everything. And
Wow, how
like
frightening.
it is my left brain and my right brain. I mean, they just didn't feel like they worked together. So it was, I just couldn't describe that feeling. So it was hard for me to tell my doctor and everyone else what was going on, because it's just an indescribable feeling inside. But we got to the point where we were going to fly back from Hawaii, and I said, raised my hand going, I can't do it. You got to take me to the ER. I can't do it. And just amazing people there in Kauai, very, very small hospital. They don't have all the stuff, but they did their best. And, I did see a neurologist, and I got another CT scan on my brain. Still, couldn't see anything, but they gave me some meds to calm down my blood pressure, which at that point had escalated to not good levels.
Well, yeah, your body is stressed. It's trying to tell you something is going on. Your body's like, something's happening, but you're having such a disconnect because your brain is not speaking to your body, and you're losing this ability to articulate. Like you said, you just didn't have the words. You didn't have the vocabulary. You couldn't understand it. So what in the hell's happening to you? You're probably just at a loss. And I can't even imagine. I mean, when we're having health issues, all we want is answers, and you're not getting any answers, and your symptoms sounds like they're just compacting and multiplying. So
Right.
Where were you? I mean, what was your state of mind?
The state of mind was scared to death. I mean, just
Yeah,
terrified.
I can't even imagine.
There was no answers, but yet I know this wasn't anxiety. I know it wasn't stress-induced, which that's the answer we all get, which, just also makes you feel kind of like, well, I'm at fault for this. And so, yeah, I mean, I just wish I could have had words and I still don't. It's still
Yeah.
a situation that it's really hard to describe what it is when you go through any kind of brain trauma. Because it's different for everyone. But they gave me some stuff. I got on the airplane, flew across the ocean.
Were you scared to fly knowing there's something wrong with your brain? I would be like, oh my gosh, is the pressure, this is a long flight? Were you scared, or were you just confident enough that, okay, my pressure is lowered because of this medication? Were you okay to fly?
Well, according to my family and the airline people, no.
Oh,
Somehow they convinced I was out of it. So I don't know. After they gave me some medication that was supposed to wear off before I got on the plane, but it didn't. Which I think I think personally, I think it saved my life.
you were flying high, literally.
And I slept the whole entire way.
Probably
Toast. I was
was
out.
a saving grace to have you like that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so you get back to the States, and where do you live? Where's your residence?
Well, we landed in LA, then we flew to Denver, and then we drove to Wyoming.
Oh
So
my
it
gosh.
was a little journey. It's not like an easy journey. It's a long travel day. Not knowing at that point, of course it's wearing off and I'm having all the symptoms again. But once we got to Laramie, we got a neurologist. We went back to Colorado. Through her tenacity, fighting with insurance, and getting me into some more scans. I spent hours in an MRI, getting an MRA, and MRIs and CT scans. She found the aneurysm. She found a brain aneurysm in my brain.
Oh my gosh.
Midnight. She searched and searched and searched. I mean, she is my angel. And at midnight, she found the aneurysm. And then luckily I was still in Colorado, and we rushed down to the ER in Denver. And I had brain surgery a couple of days later. So
I have goosebumps. Oh my gosh. Aneurysm is such a frightening word, because everything that I know that is associated with that word normally doesn't have a good outcome. Normally, you don't find them. You find them after the situation is no longer,
Right.
You're not here.
Right.
Normally the person passes. So for her to dig and dig through your brain to find it, what is the chances of that? Her tenacity,
Right.
where was it located? And now that you have an answer, and the surgery was the next day, or how many days later did they do the surgery?
Well, it's so funny how it's not funny, but it's so interesting how your brain works. I mean, I blocked so much out from this trauma that was happening to me. Like, I thought that I was waiting for the surgeon's schedule to open before I could have the surgery, but actually my blood pressure again was sky high, and so
Too high?
It was too high. They couldn't do the surgery till my blood pressure went down. I didn't know that until like 2 years ago.
Oh my,
But-
well, yeah.
So
You're like a ticking bomb.
yeah. And so I was laying for 3 days in the hospital, and they would not let
3
me
days.
move. I couldn't move at all. I could not move my body whatsoever to cause it to rupture. So for 3 days but and this is, because of what I went through leading up to the diagnosis, I was, at least I remember this way, I was relieved. I had an answer. I mean, I was in a hospital. If it ruptured right there, my neurosurgeon was phenomenal. I mean, they're really smart. They're really, really smart.
I hope so.
I felt so comfortable, and I'm like, okay, at least I've got an answer, and they can do something. So
Let me pause you right there. Okay, I can't even. First of all, yes, if we have an answer, it gives us hope, it gives us direction, and we know how to fix it. Because as humans, our number one thing is we just want to fix things. And if we don't know what to fix, then it causes us, I think, a lot of stress. So now you had an answer, but then you have this situation where you're 3 days in this life or death situation, and you literally just have to lay there and not move. Do you have any memory of what your thoughts were, what you were thinking? I mean, what does that feel like to sit in that position, being so close to not being here and fighting so hard to be here? I mean, what does that feel like to sit in that space? I can't even grasp for 3 days.
Yeah. Well, there's so many people in and out of the hospital room that you really don't have time to think about it too much. You're they're testing you, you're in and out, and they're wheeling you all over, and IVs, and I remember having incredible care there, incredible nurses. The neurosurgeon came to visit me several times. I mean, we did have a decision whether to go in. You can actually go in through your groin, and I have no idea how that works, but you can go in through your groin and get to your brain. I don't know. Or you can open your brain up. And we chose to open my brain up and do the surgery through my brain, and which was a longer recovery. As you can imagine, you open your brain up to air. I mean,
Yes.
I remember him telling me, you open your brain up to air, you don't know how your brain's going to react to that. But thank goodness we did decide that. That was the biggest decision.
Yeah, like what if I'm thinking not doing that or just going through my groin, I was always think, let's eliminate a problem before it is a problem. If opening up my brain and exposing it to air and bacteria, what made you choose? Why was he pushing you or leaning, or what was your own personal decision? Like, no, I think we need to do it this way and be more aggressive, even though it's going to take me longer to recover. What was your why?
Well, because, I mean, number one was, and it took me a day to decide. It wasn't quick. Well, plus I couldn't.
That is quick. 24 hours. Should I have brain surgery or not? Yeah, that's quick.
I couldn't think well or at all anyways. So I wasn't really in the capacity to make any decisions. But what it came down to is if you went through my groin and the aneurysm bursts, you're not in your brain to fix it.
Immediate. They could be right there. If something happens, if that tube going up nicks something. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm on the same page. I agree with your decision. So what happened now, is this true? Or is this just things that I've seen on the internet? Because sometimes they do brain surgery and you're awake and they ask you questions. Were you not awake?
Oh, no.
Tell me. Oh, good. Because I've seen people like with violins, they're in there doing things. They're like, play the violin so we know we're in the right part of the brain. So I've seen brain surgery where people are very much awake because there's no nerve endings in your brain. So once they get to that part, it's supposed to be painless. But they had you totally out. They didn't ask you to play the violin.
Yeah. Well, that's terrible anyways, but no, they definitely didn't, because if your body flinches when you're doing that work, that's not a good thing. So I still have a bump right here above my left eyebrow.
Is that where they went in? Is right there?
That's where they bolted my head. So
you had to wear a halo?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Not afterwards, but I'm not sure what happened during surgery. And I really don't know. But
okay.
I have a bump here because I remember him saying, you're going to have a bump there always because we have to hold your head down in a way.
Very, very still.
Doesn't move.
So where was it in your brain? Where was the aneurysm located?
Behind my left eye.
Behind your left eye. That's why the vision and the symptoms and your eye drooping was happening. It was putting pressure on your left eye.
Yeah.
So you went in for surgery, and how long was that? And how did that go? How was surgery?
Well, it was successful.
Obviously, because you're here. Let's celebrate that. Yay, Kathy. I'm glad because I didn't know you then and I know you now. So that's a huge win. Let's celebrate life. Yes. Successful.
My purpose. Yeah. How long was it? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't remember. I blocked it out. I do remember, it's a weird feeling as you go into any surgery. You're laying there by yourself. It's freezing. And it was a little delayed. We had to wait for the surgeon. And so you're just sitting there by yourself going, okay, it's going to work or it's not. And at that, I don't know. I don't remember having any anxiety, any worry if I was going to live or die. I really
That's what I
didn't.
was going to ask you. What was
Nope,
your
nope.
fears?
I really, nothing. I mean, I felt great. I felt so confident in what they were doing. And he doesn't, you want to go somewhere where they do them a lot. They do them a lot where I was. Um, I just felt he was so confident, it made me confident. And I felt great.
That I think is such,
Not sure why.
but well, it goes back to that at the very beginning when I said you had this quiet confidence. When you are in the space of somebody who's just really a master at what they do and they have that confidence, that just gives you such a gift, like you said, because he was so brilliant and they've done so many of them that you didn't go into this situation with fear or anxiety. I mean, someone who puts you in that kind of space because of their ownership of who they are, because they're such a master at it. I mean,
Right.
that is a priceless gift because I think most people would have a lot of fear, living and dying, even though this guy's really great at his job, but there is this chance that I might not be here. So for you to be so calm, what a gift the universe gave you or
Oh,
yourself. You gave
yeah.
that to yourself.
I don't know. I guess here going back to, I was just so relieved to know what was, going through just
You just wanted it fixed.
emotionals and just wanted it fixed. And I wanted it, I just wanted to know that my brain was going to work again. I mean, I was going to be able to feel okay again. Um, so, so at that point, I felt really good. Um, and then I was in the hospital another week or no, a week total. So maybe 5 days, 4 or 5 days afterwards. Um, yeah, then they just like, okay, you're all fixed. And
Wow.
and you're on your way. I mean, there were things, now I'm like, okay, so what does this mean? What is the recovery? Can I go back to work? Um, and it's really interesting with the brain and how how much we think we know about it, but we really don't. We don't. We know so little about the brain,
Yeah.
and how everyone's recovery is so different when it comes to brain trauma, any kind of brain trauma. It's as I've learned. But like I left with no meds. Here's some Tylenol. I mean, nothing else. I mean, yes, I had to follow it up, and I had to, get rescanned to make sure, they put a clip. Called a clip into my blood vessel, so that the bulge in it, they can
It
continue
wouldn't.
that so it wouldn't burst.
Mm.
And so they do, I still get scans to make sure that that clip is holding. And I just learned, I'm very proud of myself for learning more about this, that anything around that vein doesn't bulge.
Oh.
So that's what they're looking for too.
Yeah.
But so one of the questions I get a lot.
That's that. I have a question. Hold
Mhm.
on.
Yeah.
You said that we don't know a lot about the brain, and it is this vast area that it controls our whole body, but
Right.
yet we know so little about it. So
Right.
do they even know what causes this, or do the doctors have an idea, like, this is the reason why it happened, this is what we can do to prevent it? Is there, I know I'm like, I don't want one. How do you get one? Let me make sure I'm eating more carrots. Do you have any answers that way? Do they know anything?
Well, it's not going to be eating more carrots.
Dang it. I really like carrots.
No, it's such a human instinct, and our primitive instinct to go, okay, I just want to prevent it. I don't want this to happen to me. It is when I talk about this is the question that everyone wants to know. but and you hate to tell people, but no, there was no cause. If what I've gathered, if you had it's similar to a stroke in a way. And so if I was a heavy smoker, I was a drug user, then yes, they could probably pinpoint it to something like that. But don't do either. Never have done either. I've never been overweight. I eat really healthy. I exercise 6 days a week for an hour every day. I mean, that health is of utmost importance to me. So, no, there wasn't a cause for it. I've asked several times to several different doctors, only because I want to make sure it's not hereditary. I want to know, for my children.
For your boys, yes.
It's a hereditary thing, and they need to get scans. But no, what I have isn't hereditary, or what I had isn't hereditary. So, and what I just found out, and one of the reasons I did move to Utah, after being in, Wyoming for over 20 years, was because of the healthcare system in the neurology department at the at University of Utah. And so they're phenomenal, and they know it. And I've learned things through them that I had no idea and I didn't know about before, after.
What kind of things did you learn?
Well, I learned about, when they do these MRI scans, the updated ones, the CT scans, they are looking for that to make sure the clip's okay, but around the clip, and make sure that was, secure. And then when I asked her about the hereditary thing, again, because every doctor has a different opinion. So I just am double checking and I make sure my kids are okay. She said, brain aneurysms are pretty common.
Really?
Yeah. But small, like having a small bulge in the vein. That's what it is. A small bulge in the vein is pretty common. A lot of people have them. And we don't know, because they don't cause any harm. They cause no harm until they get big.
So they start with a small bulge. So let's just, so people can have a list. You said it's kind of similar to having a stroke.
Well,
so
I'm just saying, I don't know that. Like, no doctor's ever told me that, but I've listened to stroke stories, people that have gone through stroke.
It's in the brain. So when you have a stroke, there's blood clots and things that are happening in the brain. Right. So similar, you're having a brain issue, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So let's just go through your symptoms. So when people have this, you had migraines that just came on out of nowhere. You didn't have a history of them. You started to lose your vision. And then your facial structure even started to change. You said your eye drooped. What were other symptoms that you were having that maybe we should be aware of and go see a doctor?
Right. Yeah, I mean, and migraines aren't something to poo-poo about. I mean, those, they're serious, and they can have serious consequences if you don't learn about what's behind it and causing it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first one. Now, because of where mine was located, yes, those were the symptoms. Now, it could be located in other parts of your brain, and I don't really know what those symptoms are.
Okay.
Besides having these migraines, and when they burst, they're like headaches you've never experienced. I mean, it's beyond. For me, the other thing is you can't figure out, just things aren't working together. It's not like brain fog. off the charts brain fog. I don't know. It's a different undescribed. To me, it was just really hard to describe until I listened to someone who had a stroke, and I heard their story, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes,
Similar.
that's what it felt like. It's just parts of
Interesting.
your brain just aren't. It's just not working together, and you don't even realize that parts of your brain are working together till they're not. And then when they're not, you're like, what is this?
Off.
So,
Just the communication between the two hemispheres are so important.
yeah.
It's critical. And when they stop that communication, it really does change. That domino effect is massive.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. That's incredible. Well,
So, yeah. And then, what I want to make sure people understand too, and this is something that's near and dear to my heart, and is the recovery. The recovery for everyone. I mean, you get through the healthcare system and they fixed you, and so now you're done. The recovery for me was life-changing. It was by far the hardest thing I've ever gone through. And because I still had all those symptoms, it was fixed, but I was still experiencing double vision. My eyes didn't work together. I had vertigo. I had incredible sensory sensitivity where I couldn't look at a computer, a phone. It was hard to be outside in sunlight. I had sunglasses on. I had earplugs in because everything was too loud. So it's funny because even today, like, I forget about it sometimes, but if there's a loud noise or something, and I jump out of my skin. If someone startles me, I'm like, whoop. I mean, I was always a little bit like that, but I way up.
magnified.
Like, oh boy, here it comes.
It's like someone turned your life up to a 10, like the sounds, the lights, the noise, just all of that, just where we could control it before you couldn't. And it sounds like a dial just got turned up to a 10. And then you're still supposed to go out and function. And you're not prepared for that. You're like, well, it's fixed. So why am I not fixed? But the brain heals so slowly. And you said this happened back in 2018?
Yeah.
And you said this part of the journey has been the most difficult part.
It is. It is because I think you go through, like, I should be fine. I should be fine. They say I'm fine. And there's not really any kind of support system for that. I wasn't allowing myself to go into therapy because I didn't want to look back. I kind of put a wall up and said, I am unable to go back and relive that. I just need to go forward and just try to survive each day.
So you were really in survival mode.
Incredible survival mode afterwards. It feels like almost more so than before. That not knowing or feeling like I should be better, but I wasn't, not being able to communicate how that felt. And just knowing I've got to, and being, who I am. I mean, I'm a planner, I'm a Virgo, I'm like, I've got my systems, and I look into the future, and I could not live in that space. I had to live day to day in the moment and just be grateful to get through a day.
And was that hard for you to learn how to live present? Because in another podcast, I talked to a cancer survivor, and he said the biggest thing I had to learn was when I was going through hell, I had to keep going. And the only way I could keep going is I had to be present and literally sometimes take it moment by moment, hour by hour. And for you being, you said a Virgo, and I know Virgos, you plan, you're organized, you're meticulous, you look forward, and to stop and to sit in that space, Was that a gift for you? Did you learn to accept that, or was that really hard?
Oh, wow. Such an incredible gift.
Oh,
Such incredible, life-changing, really life-changing gift. It was
I can
hard
feel
getting
that.
there. It was so hard getting there. And
I can
really,
feel that.
yeah. And, it was, thanks to my family, my kids, and my friends who showed up for me and could sit in that moment and hold my hand and be okay, living and helping me through, why I was still here, and lean into being so grateful for being still here, and, thanking and appreciating. And yes, I mean, and, you brought up an amazing point of, how it has given me such a gift. Because 3 years ago, I started going through a divorce. And,
Oh,
not something that was on my radar whatsoever. And being able to have that gift of going through brain surgery, and especially afterwards, and learning so much about my own self, taking care of my own self. I could not take care of anyone else. I mean, it was impossible to take care of anyone else. So I had to take care of myself, and which was a wonderful gift. And being able to now, going through a divorce was awful as well. I mean, completely
oh,
traumatic in
yes.
my world. But I had more skills now, and understood myself better, and was then able to lean into figuring out what my purpose was and why I'm still here, and going through all this, and really building my life with purpose.
I think that's absolutely beautiful the way you said that. So you receive this gift. So life gives us these experiences, whether they're good, bad, or ugly.
Right?
It was this experience, and out of this experience, life gave you this gift of being present and mindful and understanding that even your son's holding your hand. That was a beautiful moment, but it prepared you. Now your divorce came after the aneurysm.
Yes.
So I went through a divorce later in life too. And when you're in this season and you don't expect it, and then you go through another life-changing event, I always call a divorce a living death, because the person is still alive, but yet you go through a grieving process. You just came out of a big grieving process, this aneurysm, this life-changing event, and now you're thrown into another season of just massive change as you are still getting to learn this new person, this
Right.
different version of yourself.
Oh, exactly.
That's one thing. As humans, we're designed to adapt. We are designed to change, and we are designed to overcome. And us as humans, we want to push that down, but if we just allow that to happen, you're going to receive certain powers and gifts to help you navigate the next season of change. And this was divorce. So what did divorce look like, and how did that change the fabric of your life on top of the other, this brain surgery? How did
Right.
they layer together to create who you are now, the Kathy I know?
Yeah, so it was, like you said, I mean, you summed it up perfectly. It felt like I went backwards, and I did start having a lot of symptoms again, and I have incredible ear ringing, knocking in my left ear from the surgery. And, all these things kind of were heightened again, along with not knowing about my future. Like you said, an incredible loss, a living loss, and grieving process that we all go through, and being a
Divorce
plant.
sucks. Yeah,
Yeah,
divorce just sucks. It
sucks.
does.
It's just terrible. And when people say, just give it a year and it'll be better, and I was like, no, it won't. How can it get better? How can it get better? And I'm like, it just keeps getting worse. But okay, it does. It took a year. Yes, it got better.
Time is the most incredible, beautiful gift. It can be this fast or it can be this slow, but all of a sudden time does give you, I think, a breath. And you're like, I had this beautiful power pause. I can see that and all of a sudden it just kind of settles. And then I think the gift that time gives us is perspective. And all of a sudden we can finally sit back in a different seat and take off our lens that we were stuck looking through and go, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
And now that you have perspective, you get this beautiful thing, this wisdom and this knowledge.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I don't know. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. I don't know what it would have been like if I hadn't had the brain aneurysm and I didn't have this new, really perspective, life purpose, really sinking into being grateful every morning. Every morning I get up and go, I'm alive. Yay. I can still see all the people who are so important to me. I still be able, to do the work that I love so much and be of service to others, that I feel so grateful.
I think,
and really leaning into that is just what gets me through. And every day's not great, and there's lows, and of course we're human, right? But that's what gets me out of that space and into just living with that in mind. That is my core. That is who I am now, and just being so in the moment now.
I love how you use this phrase several times during our conversation, that you just lean in. And I have that as part of my podcast, lean in. I think it's so important that we take life, but then we lean into it. And just from the moment we wake up, we are leaning into our life. I'm alive. I mean, if we start every single morning with just that statement, I'm alive. What a gift. Because it's not.
Take anything for granted.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
For granted. We shouldn't take life for granted. We should be just grateful for, what is right in front of us, and learn from it. Learn. I'm a big, huge, I love learning. I love new experiences and learning and trying new things. And, I it's just part of who I am. And so,
well, I believe with all of this wisdom and this knowledge and this learning, it helped you usher in a new season. And when I introduced you at the beginning of the podcast, you are a financial clarity coach for women. You specialize in women's financial help, helping women take on wealth and thriving, helping them thrive through their next step. So how does the divorce and going through this push you into this financial decision to wanting to help women? What happened in your divorce? You're like, I need to do this next.
Right.
How did you transition being a single person, not even able to hardly take care of anyone else? You said you're just focusing on yourself, and now you have this new mission. What did that look like? How did that happen?
Well, so I have a degree in accounting, so I've always been a financial person. I was a CPA, worked as an auditor in Chicago, so I have a financial background. So I like dealing with that. So that was not something out of thin air that I was drawn to. And stepping back through the purpose of my aneurysm, I'm alive. There's a reason for it. I feel very, very pulled to that. And what is that? I don't know right now. I know that, I have all this experience working in nonprofits. so service is part of my DNA, but I wasn't sure what it was. And I was searching for what is that. And being okay, I mean, it's hard for a Virgo to just sit in that space, here again, learning my gifts of not knowing what that is, but trusting it was going to come to me.
I love that you said that you had to sit in a space and go, I'm alive. What is my purpose?
Right.
I think everyone should go deep within themselves and say, hey, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. What is my purpose? What is my journey?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, such a strong question. It's such a simple question, but really you need to sit in that and you did. And what happened?
Yeah. Well, I think and then I went through the divorce, and I knew all the numbers. I was very comfortable in that space.
Yeah, you number people, I don't understand you at all. Us dyslexic people where, everything is a 69 and upside down and forward. You can tell me. So, God bless you, number people.
Hey, it's okay.
That you speak that language. It's beautiful. We need you. You strong Virgos.
Oh gosh. It does get in trouble. Oh. But yeah, so but going through divorce really taught me a lot about behavioral finance. So I knew the numbers. I had no idea what it would do to me emotionally.
Ooh, I like that term, behavioral finance.
Wow.
Expand on that. That sat with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the education piece, which is what, a lot of people think of their money and their finances. Like, I just don't know. It overwhelms me. It's because I don't know what to do, or I don't understand this concept. And education is absolutely, necessary, and it's an important space, but it only accounts for probably about 20% of our decision making when it comes to money. 80% is really emotional, behavioral, our habits. What is our values and our purpose? Well, I was going through my whole life doing, okay, I know the education piece. I know that part. I know how to do it. I know what I should be doing and contributing. But the divorce hit me really impactfully in the behavioral part, going, I am a mess. I'm scared. Am I going to be able to do this on my own? I haven't seen a mother, and I've always worked, but I wasn't the breadwinner. I hadn't had a full-time job since I had my first child at 30. Okay, so 25 years. I hadn't had a full-time job. Lots of part-time jobs, but not a full-time job. How is this going to work? Can I do this?
Yes. Yes.
Love. I can't sit at a computer screen for very long. Because of my eyes, that I still have issues with my double vision. I have to be very cognizant of my situations, and so I don't get migraines again, and all the things. So can I get a job at this age? Can I support myself? It was terrifying. So this is behavioral. If you could have told me I had $50 million in the bank, and I would have said, I don't know if that's enough.
Exactly. I think you described it so perfectly. When I went through my divorce, those fears, we raised babies. That was our choice. That was my choice too. I hadn't had a full-time job. I had several part-time jobs. I helped my then husband with his career and being his support and being his sounding board and giving ideas, but I was not the breadwinner. And now women at our age, this is a big section of the population, women going through, either they've lost their husband. I have a close girlfriend, her husband passed away, or they go through a divorce. And now we're in this season, and sometimes we feel unqualified because we chose a different path. Right. And now we financially have to take care of ourselves. It scared the hell out of me. It's probably one of my number one fears, that I have to say, no, Michelle, you are making this up. You're creating a space
Right.
out of fear and just being scared, and it's not real. If
Right.
you're going to project, like if a tiger was chasing me in my dream, my body in my dream is going to react. My heart's going to race, and I'm going to sweat, and I'm going to wake up. But I was just projecting that. It didn't really happen. And we do that in real life. Like, oh, I can't start a business. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the tools. I'm not going to understand. It's not going to be successful. I'm manifesting all of those thoughts. Well, I had to tell myself, no. You are absolutely strong enough and talented enough and capable enough. And yes, you're going to launch a business and you're going to be a girl boss. And I had to put that picture out because I sat in that fear for a year. I'll tell you the truth. It paralyzed me a year after my divorce.
Absolutely. It
So I
paralyzed,
can relate.
and I was completely blindsided by how much
Yes,
it paralyzed me. Completely.
absolutely. It was not prepared. I
Nope.
was not prepared.
Yep. Nope. Not. I was not either. Um, yeah. So, I mean, after, going through that and just trying to figure myself out, I'm like, and I helped other girlfriends who were going through divorce at the same time. And the fear, that, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's for all of us. And
Yes.
being there to have a business that really focuses on, next stages. I don't want this to
Yes.
a negative space. This is next stages. This is like, let's take control of our lives.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
learn about ourselves, what's important to
Yes.
us, and have the skills to just be comfortable in the space. We can make great decisions, and just reducing that fear. Fear's going to still come up, of course it does. I mean, that's just not going to go away all the time, but let's give you the tools to make you feel less scared, to feel more
Absolutely.
and to really dive into those behaviors and emotions and why do you feel that way, and so that we can go on and do our purpose. We can start our businesses and feel great about it, and help others, and it's endless what we can do.
It is absolutely limitless what we can do. And I believe, and I love what you said, that all you need is a tool. And that's what I teach in my practice. And I know that's what you teach in your practice. And when we have that fear come up, but then you sit with your client and you're like, yes, that fear is real, but let's stop. Let's find the purpose behind it. Let me give you a tool. Let's have a conversation. Let's give you direction. I know we personally have sat down and talked about my money, and just one simple thing you told me to do, just checking my Social Security. I don't know why I've never checked mine or my former husband's Social Security. I didn't even know that that was even something that I was going to get, because I'm really comfortable sitting in the now and taking care of myself now. But looking into the future, retirement, what does that even look like? And so I know when we started our conversation and you gave me that one tool, just look into this. And I'm like, okay, that's just one thing that gave me hope, gave me direction, and it gave me an answer. How many more tools, am I going to learn from Kathy that are so simple and so powerful? So
Right.
that is, I think, a gift that you give your clients. We need those tools to give us hope.
Absolutely, because you can't my purpose is to make you feel comfortable around it, making comfortable about your decisions. And if I can help in certain ways, and everyone's going to show up differently with different challenges, and so the tools are going to depend on client to client, what's needed, and then using that to create a space for the client to then move forward. Okay, let's do the fun stuff now. Let's look forward.
Yes.
Let's see, what is going to be my next stage of life, and giving people hope. And
Well, I think that is absolutely the answer, is that we need to give ourselves hope. We need to know that we go through many seasons in our life.
Right.
From we're not the same as we were in our 20s, our 30s, our
Definitely not.
40s. And even you, just in these last 6 years, it was 2018. I mean, that is a short period of time, but you went through several seasons just in that period of time. But I always believe with all of this experience, we are starting over, and wherever that looks like, if you're starting over because you've had some health issues or a loss or a divorce, I really believe when you start with experience and with a tool and with the right people in your life guiding you,
Right.
the best is truly yet to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And stepping
I
into
think I've
if you're not
lost you.
comfortable with. Oh, you lost me?
You're back.
Okay.
You're good. You're back.
I'm there. Yeah, I think that once we become comfortable in that space, then yeah, I mean we're able to do wonderful things. Yeah, and sometimes it just takes talking to someone about it. And one of my big things is, we need to talk about our financial situation more, because sharing is it's an incredibly powerful experience.
Yes, everyone needs a who in their corner. We are fiercely independent. Like, we know how to do it. I can Google, I can read, but it's more powerful if you pause and go, wait, who is the expert? Who can lead me and give me the right tools and be my mentor and guide me through it? And if you have the who, it makes every space feel safe. Because you had the who for your surgery, you felt confident in going into this really terrifying situation. So I know that when I choose the right who and have the right tool, that confidence just helps me just launch.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
that's my purpose, and it is to in service to others who need can connect with my experiences, or what their needs are, and just to help, because there are people out there that just need some support, and that is my purpose. I'm so thrilled every day to be doing this work and knowing that I found what I was here to
you
do.
found your reason. You found your reason.
I found my reason.
That, oh my gosh. And that is the biggest gift that we can do, to find the reason, to wake up every day and say, I'm alive, and have a
Right.
purpose to move forward with. I mean, there's no better gift. So
Right.
I am grateful that you're here. I know you are really passionate about what you do. You do a lot of service in your industry. You do a lot of giving back through community. And that's something that I admire. I think that's an important element that we should touch on with all of this experience and all of this knowledge. I think it's absolutely disgraceful if we don't share it and give it to somebody who's not in a position, someone less fortunate, younger, or someone who's going through hard times. And I know that's something that you do. Do you want to share a little bit about some of the services that you have been a part of, some of the nonprofits?
Right. Yeah, I volunteer for an organization called Women's Money Matters. They are out of in the East Coast, out of Boston, but they provide their services and workshops all over the country. So it is a virtual workshop where we teach different concepts every week, financial concepts, and we are teamed up with the coaches are teamed up with participants, and then we are coaching each of these participant throughout the program, developing their own goals.
Wow. What a great organization.
It's tremendous. And these women are, usually coming out of, or they've had experience, or they're in transitional housing. They are, have to meet some certain requirements So yeah, it's been incredibly rewarding. I've had amazing participants who have taught me so much. Oh my goodness. And their resilience is amazing too. And just any kind of, I just see what the education lights them up, and how, like you said, just, different areas in learning, and then going out and doing. The confidence in these women is just escalates. And so it's given me so much. I mean, each participant who I still am in contact with, I'm continuously I'm always in the program volunteering, but I'm always keeping up with all my former participants as well. And they're just doing great things and making great,
Well, send me the link and I'll put it at the bottom. So if people want to, is there a way that they can participate or donate or help out to this cause?
Absolutely. They can do all of them. They can, because you don't have to be a financial coach to actually volunteer in the program. They don't, you have to be a woman because it is all women. But other than that, yes, they can donate, they can help out. And it's so well organized and ran, which I've worked in nonprofits for 30 years. So I really am drawn to nonprofits that work well.
Yes.
So
again, another space where you're being a gift, using your purpose, helping people be resilient, helping people break limiting beliefs and barriers, and to move forward in a different season in their life. And that is tremendous. We need more people to sit in service and take their experience and give it back to their community, their tribe, their family. And those little ripples will change people's lives. And like you said, you've seen it.
Absolutely. It does. Mm-hmm.
Well,
so
I am thrilled that you took some time out of your day to spend it with me. I was honored to have you on my podcast and to share your story and your legacy and your resilience. And I think what I've learned is that find your purpose, wake up every day, and the simple statement, I'm alive. What is my reason?
Right.
Be resilient and embrace that this is a beautiful season.
Right.
And we can absolutely move forward limitless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I appreciate being here. And Michelle, you're doing a great service yourself in getting this out there, because everyone's going to, learn from you and all the guests that you choose to be on it. And it's a wonderful space.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being in my space today. I end every podcast the same way. All right, everyone, we can't go over it. We can't go under it. We just got to go through the shit together. Carry on.